understand who you are. And a big thing is being able to self-assess, being able to know where you need help and what you do really well. Getting the John Patrick Shanley workshop came out of working with Howard Fine and and having Career Activate. It was those two decisions were my most important decisions. I did research on this particular role without getting too specific. The show resembled another big show, Orange is the New Black. And there was a character on that an actor who was up for Emmy Awards for that role, for this kind of guest star recurring role. And I was connecting that there's some parallel there, you know?
Yeah.
I had a chance to talk to the writer and one of the creators of the show, and he referenced Orange is the New Black and that role. And I had the courage to say, hey, I when I was researching, preparing, I saw that, and I saw that the actor, was up for some Emmys, and I couldn't believe it was coming out of my mouth to to one of the creators and the writer right before we were going in to shoot. And he just smiled and was just so happy that I connected that. They've got a dream for this series, and they're looking at people who can elevate the story or add more interesting storylines, characters. And I just went in and tried to do my best, and it went very well.
I think that's really exciting and speaks a lot to the value of being open and honest with your passions. And I think it's so tempting sometimes to kind of act like we don't care that much. That's different than just sharing passion and excitement. And so it sounds like by you sharing that with the creator, he appreciated it and probably trusted you more in how much work you'd put into your prep and what you were going to come show.
Yeah. And that showed up, and I wasn't trying to put that air on because it was intense. I'll tell you, standing there, you're waiting to see where your set is, what you got. I've got 7 pages in my head. I'm with the lead. I'm just starting to get oriented to how things are going to work with the team. I barely had a handshake with the director. And then you're shuttled in with through all these people, and you've got 2 camera rigs, and I've got food in front of me. I've got to be eating and props and papers and all this. So it was really fun to just get in there and go, the training that I've had, that Olympic training with my scene study studio for 3 years, and then with the recent work that I've been doing for Extreme Close-Up, I was able to really rely on it. And I was ready, or the day before I got the production schedule, it's a 1-day guest star out of the 30-day shoot. But I had a cold open with the lead, and then I had a nice ending scene with the lead. And I thought maybe there's a possibility they'll bring me in for the next season. As I'm going to my car, I get stopped by somebody I hadn't seen yet. And he was like, can you come back tomorrow? I want to do some B-roll, another lead of the show to just make more sense with what I did with the other 2 scenes. And I said, of course. And then he shook my hand and he said his name, and I realized, he's the creator of the show. He came back day 2 and got to spend a really good part of the day with him and kind of the family of the series. I was able to spend time with the other lead, where I think they wanted maybe potentially develop a storyline with the 2 of us. They were looking at me that day as though what possibly they can do with me. And I thought, oh, wow, I might be part of a series family.
Which is such a huge dream of so many people. We look up to these shows that have gone on for multiple seasons, and we see the community and family that gets built within these worlds, and they seem so special and beautiful and deep. And I think all of us probably want something like that within our careers at some point. And that's really cool to have, even just be on the edge of that possibility. That must feel really exciting. But even just doing it once here, it just shows you're that much closer to doing it maybe on another show, you're building that up right now. And one thing that we talked about, I think it was at this last mastermind in November, was how we have certain challenges at the beginning of our careers. And as we move through and our careers grow, we don't get less challenges, we just get different ones. So I'm really curious, based on the last time that we talked, or even just where you were when you started the Elite program versus now, how have your challenges changed now that you're getting on these bigger sets, and how are you working on overcoming those with your coach and your community?
When I started with Career Activate, I had a lot of questions about how to engage with the industry, how to engage in my networking with casting directors, with potential filmmakers, how to target projects and people surrounded by those projects. There was some fear in it for me, definitely, that I was up against. There were elements of that I needed some training on. So I certainly tried to take in as much training as I could. And then just kind of just doing things. But I saw that my wins along the way, like the projects that I would get, saying yes to something that maybe many others would have said no to, allowed me to work with this person. And that person got me this over here, which then opened up another world, a little later. Learning that and then having Career Activate come in to really elevate everything for me, my decision making, having the coaching, being able to really validate the choices I've made previously in a way to know as far as branding, as far as strategy, keying in. When I was working my first year with Eric was so helpful at keying me in to what the real goal is for me, what my goal is. Because we can tend to do other things, even though we're being productive in some way, you're not necessarily doing some of the key things that lead you to your goal. I want to be a film and TV actor and do my best work with the best people in the industry. That takes a particular sort of focus and set of actions, continuous effort. I really do get thrilled with the first that happened with me and as it goes along.
That's something we talk about all the time in the community. It's celebrating the small wins, the achievements that lead up to these big ones. So, I mean, actually on that note, what do you think was the thing that helped you book this role or get the audition or make the connections you needed to actually secure the role?
And most of the time you never really know why and how. But, the writer who talked to me before we started shooting, he did say he cast me. Like he told me directly, he goes, I loved what you did in the audition here. I felt you were going to be perfect for what he was hoping to get with the character. Really building some significant relationship with casting directors, with directors and writers and producers of kinds of projects that I need to be doing next.
Does it feel like the goal now really zeroing in your focus on more so the collaborators and the people you want to work with and the projects that they're making that you resonate with and finding ways to build those relationships? And is that, A, does that feel true? And B, is that different than how do you think it was a couple of years ago?
Very different. This last year plus, I've been able to go from here to here, to a place of real confidence, support, people who have created amazing careers who believe in me, believe in my work and love my work.
How do you feel like you're able to achieve to get to that place of having higher confidence and people that believe in you and a better community around you?
In the training and like scene study work and that sort of thing, where you're in kind of a crucible, you're in kind of an oven. I really worked on my nerves. I really worked on, memorization, getting it in deep. So nothing rattles you, getting character and circumstance in like baked bread. Along the way, I thought, oh, I'm good. I got this. And then I realized not so good. Oh, okay, I got this now. It took a lot of that. It took a lot of me thinking I had made it to a place and then to realize I have not. And to have teachers see that and not tell you that straight out. Maybe they do, you have to be ready to hear that. But, to have teachers that really see what your absolute potential is, and then learning along the way, really being able to take notes, understand who you are. And a big thing is being able to self-assess, being able to know where you need help and what you do really well. I can go back and actually maybe pinpoint a win because of this win in my training where I go, I got there with this skill. That note, I'll forever remember, throughout my career. So working with Howard Fine and and having Career Activate, it was those two decisions were my most important decisions.
If you were talking to an actor who's struck in their career, what single piece of advice would you give them to help them get unstuck?
Try to connect with another actor. If you're feeling stuck, it helps, I think, to connect with your community or even find somebody new who you admire that may help get you out of it.
And there's lots of us in Career Activate in the elite program to talk to. So many wonderful friends that I have now I met through programs. It kind of attracts a lot of actors that are just very centered, I think, and driven. They're just like, yep.
For us to come together, this is what I love about Career Activate. We come together with all of these incredible resources. We come together with a genuine, non-ego passion with our connections. Get to know each other in ways that are unique to actor communities.
Yeah.
And when you, for some reason, connect with certain people, there's an incredible nurturing that goes on, that things come out of it that can be extraordinary. And you can feel it. And we've seen it in our community.
In some circles or some environments, that spirit of generosity and sharing isn't quite there because we're also focused on our own paths, I think. And so we're just thinking about how can I get where I want to go? And sometimes stepping outside of that to look at how we might be able to help someone else is a little tough because we're like, well, I'm struggling so much already. Why would I help someone else when I'm the one that needs help? And I think that's what's so great about the community is then when you add in a community around you that we're all working on things, then if I give, I'll receive. People naturally come to this community with humility because what they're doing is saying, I need help. I need direction. I need assistance, support, guidance. That's what we're doing. And so by default, the people that come to this community are those that are open to guidance and communal support. And it's really beautiful to see. I love it.
It's nice when you can tie into what really is in your core that you're really dreaming for. Because I think that helps drive me through all of the ups and downs of my career, of opening up into a bigger career for me.
Well, where can people continue following your journey? What's your Instagram handle or any other places that people can follow you?
It's at Matthew Rhodes Actor with 3 underscores. And if anybody wants to reach out, talk about the journey, my journey as an actor or with Career Activate, feel free.
Thank you, Matthew. It's so good to hear again.
I'm very excited for next year.
It's going to be a good one. I have a good feeling about it.